Hello, everyone. Welcome to the class BMN 612 seminar on South and Southeast Buddhism. I hope everyone is doing okay. And today is the sixth week, week 6. As you are aware, today is the midterm. So what I'm going to do here today is to look a little bit of a review of what we did so far, and then we'll have to you will get the email on how to do the midterm examination. You are familiar with the process so far. And in this class we have been discussing so far about the origin and the development, and especially the spread of Buddhism in India. So far in India, in our future classes, we'll be focusing on the other neighboring countries, especially Southeast Asia, South and Southeast Asia. So remember that the first week we were discussing about the Buddha's life story, and how we have been talking about Buddha's life story in many different classes. But here in this class, we were focusing on how the Buddha's character, the role played by the Buddha to spread his teaching. You know that he's the one who found this teaching, founder of this so-called religion. He's the actually the beginning, and then what type of actions he took, the Buddha, what type of actions he took to spread it. We saw that to preserve his teachings and to maintain the unity in the Sangha, he took certain steps, and also to spread it. Remember that when there were 60 arahants, 60 enlightened beings, including the Buddha, 61, and the Buddha gave the advice to those 60 arahants, enlightened ones, make use of the maximum capacity you have to spread my teaching, to spread the teachings so that many people could be benefited out of it. That was his first advice to the monks. And then after saying that, he did not stop at one place. He, in his long career of 45 years, the Buddha himself traveled all over India, helping the people to understand the life and to find freedom from their sufferings. So in that way, he set an example. He asked the other monks to do the same, and he did the same thing. That's very important. Usually the saying goes like, practice what you preach. So in his case, he did the same thing, practiced what he preached. And then Buddha's this charismatic figure, he was coming from a royal family. He had some royal influence, and also he had a very pleasant look. Those are the things that helped. And the way he talks, in the early text, it is said that when someone comes to him, when anybody goes near him, Buddha is the one who first smiles. That means he is the one who first welcomes anybody who is coming towards him. So humble, so energetic. So these are some good qualities that he had. And the other thing is, he is the first one to speak when someone comes to you. You are the one to speak first. You welcome him. These are good things. So these things attracted many young people to as followers to him. Many young and rich people came in search of freedom from their suffering, because rich people, in the sense that when you have everything, when you have super luxuries, you usually become fed up with your life. Even today we see that thing. When you have everything, you don't want any more thing because everything is there. Then you look for some freedom from day-to-day life suffering. Young people mostly flocked flocked with the Buddha, and it grew. The force of Buddhism, the organization, grew day by day. And also the very important thing is not just men, even women. Many women, because in that society, even today you find these things. In the 6th century India, in that society, women were not given the proper status as men. There was a big difference, big division between the men and women. So Buddha said, no, we all are equal. Just imagine in that time, a man like the Buddha is giving prominent place to the women. So it was a good jump start for them to come up and fight against the what you may call the authority of men. And so those were things that helped Buddhism to, easily get spread in India. Buddha gave his teachings not closed, it's open. His teaching is open. He said, my teaching is open. Anybody can come and see what is in there. So he said, come and see. He's inviting the other people to come and see, come and investigate, actually. He did not say come and believe. Buddhism does not say come and believe. It says come and investigate, come and see. This is a very good quality in Buddhism. So that those things helped Buddhism to, get rooted in India. And afterwards, and after Buddha's passing, the monks and nuns, at the beginning, the monks, they got together and they rehearsed the Buddha's teaching. The first council, we named it as first council. Just after 3 months of the passing of the Buddha, 5 arahants means the enlightened monks, they got together in one place and then they discussed what they are going to do about the Buddha's teachings. So they organized the teachings in certain manner. Remember, at that time, they did not have writing. Writing was not introduced at that time. And then monks only kept everything in memory. So they made a plan. We will organize these things in 3 baskets. Remember, we were talking about those things. So we will put the teachings into 3 different baskets, which we call Tripitaka. And in these three baskets, they divided into sections, and monks were appointed. Okay, you should be taking care of this section, and your followers, your students, you should encourage them to study it and keep it in memory. and pass it to the other generations. Likewise, the whole project was is called the Bhanaka, or that's the Pali word, reciters. They are reciting the teachings of the Buddha in that group. One group is reciting one section. The other group is reciting another section. Likewise, they memorize them and then, preserved it. That's the preservation. So the monks' task at the very beginning, I told you this before too, monks and nuns both, and we call it Sangha. Huh? The role of the Sangha is to, first thing is to practice Buddhism, right? Because they became monks and nuns to practice Buddhism. So first thing is to practice Buddhism. And the second one is to preserve the teachings. Because if you do not preserve, the future generations will not have the access to it. So monks and nuns' second task is to preserve it. And the third one is very important, propagation. You know the meaning of the word propagation, spread. So I call this triple P, PPP, practice, preserve, propagate. You will not find in any book. This is my own interpretation. Propagation. In this class, actually, we are talking about the propagation part, spread part, how Buddhism get spread out into these areas, South and Southeast Asia. So the monks were really concerned about these three things: practice for the benefit of oneself, one's own freedom, one's own salvation, and also at the same time preserving it for the next generations, and also spreading it out, propagating it, so that many people can have the access to these teachings. These were the three main things that the monks and nuns did throughout the history. Even today, the monks and nuns in the world, what they are doing is these three things. And then, as you may remember, the first council was held just after 3 months, and the second council was held after 100 years later. 100 years after the passing of the Buddha, monks got together and they rehearsed the teachings, and they just checked whether we are carrying, whether we are studying, or whether we are remembering the same things that we did before. So that's why it's called a council. Councils are held to how do I say? Councils make the teachings more intact, more pure. So in 100 years later, second council was happened, and then there were some dissidents. Dissidents means some schools, some groups broke away, and those groups again broke away into pieces. So there were 18 sub-schools. First one is the original one is called the Theravada. Original group is called Theravada. And out of Theravada is way of the elders. And then out of that tradition, some branches, some not really branches, some sub-schools came up, 18 of them. And in the third council, which was held after 218 years after the passing of the Buddha, over there at that council, again, monks got together and they rehearsed the teachings, and those monks who were not following the original teaching were, they were forced to leave. They were forced to leave from the Sangha. This is what happened in the Third Council. With the help of the king, the government, the authority, with the help of the king, the monks were able to purify the sasana, purify the sangha by allowing them to leave. And it is in the text, it says over 60,000 of them were forced to leave the Sangha because they were not following the teachings as it is. So in the Third Council, King Ashoka, we discuss about these things. I'm just reminding you these things. King Ashoka's gigantic work, he took effort to cleanse the sasana, cleanse the Sangha, and make it purify, because he thought it is my task as the emperor, as the head of state. Under my state, Buddhism should be clean, purified. So he took the he took that task into his hand, and the Third Council was sponsored by him. He was the main patron. And one of the beautiful things that happened, according to our class, because we are paying attention to the spread of Buddhism. So the king took steps to spread Buddhism into 9 different regions, countries and regions. Because in India at that time, different regions were very far and remote. So remote regions, as well as some neighboring countries. So 9 missionaries went out from India, Pataliputra, the city where the council was held. From there, 9 missionaries, 9 ambassadors went into different parts of the world to spread the teachings of the Buddha. This is the most important event in the history of Buddhism. It took the opportunity, it got the opportunity to be present in other parts of the world. Other parts of the world means not just in India, not limited to India. It went out, expanded. So Sri Lanka received Buddhism because of this effort. King Ashoka's own son and daughter, Mahinda and Sanghamitta, they both went to Sri Lanka. And you know, Buddhism in India, Buddhism disappeared in the 10th or 11th centuries. In 10th or 11th centuries, Buddhism just disappeared because of the invasions of the Muslim. Because of the Muslim invasions, Buddhism disappeared, but Buddhism is well rooted in Sri Lanka because of that king's good effort. He sent missionaries to Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka received Buddhism as early as the 2nd century BCE, before the Common Era. And up until today, it is the main force in that country, shaping the culture and many other things. We will discuss this in later class. But anyway, the thing that you have to remember is that King Ashoka's contribution to propagate Buddhism was really wonderful. He took great effort in that endeavor, in that effort. So that happened in the 3rd century BCE, before the Common Era, right? And then 9 missionaries, very important. 9 missionaries is very important task that he did. And then in our class, we were focusing on the 3 major branches of Buddhism. 3 major branches of Buddhism in India, how they got originated and how they got established in India. We were focusing on those things. What are the three major branches? Theravada, way of the elders, and then the Mahayana, greater vehicle, and then third one, the last one, Vajrayana, or the Mantrayana or Tantrayana, way of the diamond or way of the thunderbolt. We were discussing all those three traditions, three major branches of Buddhism. All those three originated in India itself. In India itself, they got they had the origin, and they survived in India for some centuries actually, and then disappeared in India. But in other parts of the world, they are still flourishing. So look at those things, the three major traditions. You should be able to talk about them, how they were originated and why, and how they were spread in India. Remember, we were talking about the big universities, the monks and nuns started big Buddhist universities, and when you have a seat of learning, it's very easier for you to spread things. They have the authority to spread things. They have the authority to, they have the capacity to do research and come up with new philosophies and things like that. And they got established. So flourishing these three traditions in India, that's very important when you consider the spread of Buddhism in India. So I'm always repeating this word spread because in this class, we are focusing on that aspect, how it got spread out in Indian soil and also out of that, out of India. So I guess these were the things that we were talking about in the class so far. And I'm not going to talk today too much because you have to do your midterm. So you will get at least 2 questions that you need to answer. As I have been telling you all the time, please write down your answers in Word format in Microsoft Word and submit them in your emails as an attachment. That way, I have the record and very easy to follow. And also, please write down your name because you are the one to write your name correctly, not me. Please do so. And if you have any questions, please email me as usual. And that ends today's review. So good luck with your midterm, and we will be meeting again next week, next Monday, the regular class. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.